Somebody's going to be pissed. Somebody said in the chat, I'm going to be pissed if it's Jake. And there you are.
We're losing fans.
That's not true. That is not true.
Man.
How you doing, dude?
I'm all right. I am home. Was quite the experience getting home last night.
Yeah.
The NYC flooding stuff was no joke, man. I had to go. I went Subway, then my Subway got cut off, took an Uber, got sent all around the city. Got home, so happy about that. But, I think John might still be at the office, Big Baby David. Now I'm hearing Trevor's messed up. We're falling apart, Chris. The dog days got to us.
I know. Jeez, oh, man, I'm so sorry everybody's going through that. My eldest son is in New York this week. And he called me. He's like, Dad, it is he grew up in California. We don't see rain like you guys got yesterday. He's like, Dad, I think there's like a tornado going on. I'm like, there's not a tornado. And then I check out all the clips of like what's going on in Staten Island. I was like, I cannot believe this. Like, holy smokes. I feel for you guys. Hang in there. My good friend Melissa Stark, whom I've known for decades, called me last night. It's 11 o'clock Pacific time. I'm in Vegas still. It's 2 a.m. her time. She lives in Jersey. She's like, I've been stuck on the Jersey Turnpike for 5 hours. She hadn't moved. I was like, wait, I don't even know if she got home last night. Horrible.
It's one of those weird things you start thinking about our society and, just some of the different scenes I saw last night and, people were bunkering down in subways and stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. A rainstorm that was out of everyone's control. So, nuts.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, everybody out east, hang in there. Let's try and lighten up your day with a little bit of baseball talk. Baseball today. Thank you very much, by the way. You've moved us right up the podcast charts. We're hanging in there. There's some other podcast named Talking Baseball. Have you heard of it?
It won't stick.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only other one, on top of us. So we'll see. Anyway, first question, and I appreciate you doing this on no notice. So we're going to fire off some questions. We'll see how you do. They're easy ones. Dodgers moved into first place last night with their win over the Braves, and the Giants lost to the Brewers. It's the first time since late April that they're in first place. Scale of 1 to 5, how big a deal is that to you right now that they're in first place?
Right now that the Dodgers are in first place, I would say I think it's a 4. So my two thoughts. So when I was coming home last night, I think, I was distracting myself in an Uber ride that had us getting sent to different parts of the cities, and there was 2 great baseball games on last night. The Brewers, the Dodgers, some good talking baseball tweets that had SpongeBob stuff that was a little over my head, but I pretended I got it. Man, I just had a moment where, they're playing this weekend, right? So that's where I'm going to leave the Giants a caveat. Like, you guys, if you want to go get it, you can earn me back instantly. But, man, I just had one of those moments where I was like, Scherzer's on that team, and he's pitching. What's that stat that keeps popping up? It's like the best 5 starts on someone joining a new team or the best 6 starts. It just feels like we said this last year during the pandemic year a couple times. Like, are we just going to end up at the end of the season being like the Dodgers won and that made sense? And I kind of had that moment again, man. Scherzer, Buehler, Urias, like all these guys, Mookie, like we forget what's going on over there sometimes to talk about wild card races and stuff. The Dodgers are gross.
They are. Let's remember, they have been banged up as much as any team out there this year. They've had substantial guys miss time, whether it's in their lineup or on the mound. They've used almost 40 pitchers this year, which is unheard of. Like, teams that are using 40 pitchers are dog shit. They're not the best team in the league. So for them to just kind of bide their time, not panic, and then be here, I would also say it's a 4 just because we got a month to go. The thing that kind of sucks for baseball fans is we're going to get the Giants and Dodgers only one more series all year. So it's this weekend. It's like you would want to see them play one more time in that final week, but whatever, it happens. So I'm excited for this weekend. who knows? By tomorrow, the Giants could be back in first place. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Let's move down the California coast. Your boy, Garrett Cole. First time he has pitched in Anaheim since signing with the Yankees. And that's big because he grew up about 15 miles from that stadium. There was always talk that the Angels need pitching. We're going to go get Garrett Cole. They did not. He ended up playing for his childhood favorite team, the New York Yankees. So was yesterday's 15 strikeout dominant performance bigger for you Yankee fans or tougher to swallow for Angel fans?
Ooh, interesting. This is close to me, Chris, being a Yankees fan, and
yeah. Try and put on your objective glasses here.
I'll do my best. The Yankees were on a 4-game losing streak, which, if it became 5, wouldn't have become the end of the world. They still would have been the top wild card spot, and they'd have with Baltimore coming. So you'd be able to talk yourself into it. We would have been sad. It would have been no fun. E-Drop's one of the best starts this year, as dominant as you can be. I would say I'll go with the soul of Anaheim because, there's times when we're tough on the Angels because it seems like almost a trope at this point that, like, the Angels don't have enough pitching. And then, talking baseball, that other podcast you mentioned, sometimes Halo fans get mad at us because we say, there's no pitching, and then they say, oh, Griff Canning or Andrew Heaney before the season. And it's like, well, look what Garrett Cole just did. And, hey, I'll spin it back at the Yankees. The Yankees pre-Garrett Cole, every playoffs, recent Yankee fans weren't confident because we didn't have a 1-1 since, prime CC. So, I don't know, man. I know you've heard some of the whispers around baseball that the Angels were definitely number 2 for Cole, and I've heard that they almost drove up the price tag for Cole, and then I come back to, well, maybe you should have got that guy because you need that.
Right. I think that if you're an Angels fan, you sit here and you think 2 things. First of all, I agree with your total point that if the Yankees had lost 5 in a row, right, it would have sucked coming off a 13-game winning streak, and you made all those great points. So to me, it's an easy answer here, and it's the Angels. As an Angel fan, you're sitting here and you're going, with the development of Ohtani on the mound, you're going, Cole, Ohtani. Now all of a sudden we're talking. And the other part of the equation is Anthony Rendon is a fantastic baseball player. And he only signed for $245 million only, but you would have had to pony up, another, $70 million to get to Cole's price tag. But, man, if the choice is between those two, there is no choice. It's painful for them. It is painful that you're watching a guy just totally turn his career in Garrett Cole to another level ever since he went to Houston and now New York. And you're sitting there saying, he could have come back to Orange County. He could have, what's the one thing we've whiffed on over the years? C.J. Wilson gave them some decent run, but wasn't a $100 million pitcher. And then they've never gotten it right. There's a reason Mike Trout's only played in 3 playoff games in his future Hall of Fame career. It's got to kill him. It has to kill them. All right.
They had Cole. They find some other hitting, which, hey, I'll give Patrick Wisdom a quick shout out. You find players sometimes. You don't find aces. Man, imagine if you had to go into a playoff series against Cole and Ohtani.
Good luck. Good luck. All right, next one. Nick Castellanos, grand slam, chipped bat. Mike Shildt comes out and looks at it. Umps say, it's okay, just get rid of the bat. Gives it to the kid, all that sort of stuff. Was this a weird incident or just kind of another really cool moment in the Reds-Cardinals rivalry?
So I haven't dove into it yet because it was, we were Yankees game last night. I've just seen our Twitter clips and all that stuff. I haven't heard Shildt talk about it, and he seems like the target because he's the one that brought it to attention. So if he has a semi-legit reason, I'm open to it. Otherwise, I don't know. It feels like it's gamesmanship trying to get in the Reds' head, and don't try to get in those guys' heads. You're just going to fuel them. They want that. Like,
yeah,
and then Cassiano to give that to the kid, like it doesn't get better than that.
He's been using it since Sunday, I read, in Miami, that he chipped it, and he's been using it ever since. In fact, he said in game one yesterday of that doubleheader that the home plate umpire said, "Hey, Nick, you've got a chip in that bat." He's like, "Yeah, I've been using it for a few days." Didn't make a big deal about it. The ump wasn't like, "Hey, you got to take it out of play. Sorry." So they knew about it. And Schilt actually said, to his credit afterward, he said, the umpires did a good job with this incident, and that's it. To me, the biggest issue was Mike Schilt can never do interviews without his hat on. I don't know if they're pulling a guy from section 212 out to do Zoom interviews afterward. He must be in full uniform at all times, whether he's at the ball yard or out of the ball yard, because I am not going to know that that's Mike Schilt, Major League Manager. He's just too ordinary.
I think John Boy planted this seed in me, and I can't shake it. But I think Jimmy said he kind of looks like baseball's Dwight Schrute, or baseball's.
That's exactly it. I'm surprised he doesn't come from the turnip farm or whatever that is.
Oh yeah, that will always be in my brain now. And I feel like whenever I look into Mike Schultz had a couple weird ones this year, no, but when I do hear him talk, I'm like, okay, there's normally a reason behind it. It's not just pure chaos. But I wonder how that happens. Like, I wonder if did the catcher hear the umpire say that to Castellanos, and then he mentions it to Schilt, and then they thinking something. I don't know.
Yeah. By the way, everybody reminded me, Beet Farm, not Turnip Farm. I was close. Same family, Beet Farm. My bad. Yeah. I forget who was his cousin, the one with the beard and
Mose.
Nice work.
Thank
Bringing
you.
back The Office is always fun. That's good stuff. Good. Yasmani Grandal, 2 more knocks last night, 9 for 17 since coming off his extended stay on the injured list. When you couple Grandal's bat with his glove work behind the dish, is he the most important White Sox position player?
Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, so White Sox position players. Tim Anderson at short. You get the swag. He makes some plays. The batting average. Jose Abreu is always driving in runs. Luis Rob. Dude, I looked at his stats the other day. That's one of those, you lose some guys when they go injured or they only play 60, 70 game seasons. Luis Roberts hitting, like 330? Something like that. So he's pretty good. It's a really interesting case because Chris, you probably heard this on Talking Baseball, that other show, I assume.
Not familiar.
My award to Yasmani Grandal, because when we use a lot of stats nowadays, and weighted runs created plus is a popular one with the kids. And I believe there's 4 guys ahead of Yasmani. It's Shohei Ohtani, who will win the MVP, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who is in line to win an MVP in any season that there wasn't a guy pitching and hitting both ways, Matt Olson and Aaron Judge, the only 2 players in the league that lead their teams in like every scoring offensive category. Number 5, Yasmani Grandal. So when you lay it out like that, I think there's a good argument for it, but I also think that goes away from like eye test where I'd say like Jose Abreu, like he's kind of the heart of that team when I picture the White Sox as a body. But that's a great question, Chris Rose.
Thank you. I worked all night on it. Well, actually just about 5 minutes last night. But, it makes you think a little bit. And we didn't even talk about his pitch framing, where he's always great at that sort of stuff, and all of his work behind the plate. And people say, wait, how can a guy who's hitting 217 be their most important guy? He gets on base a ton. That's why his OPS is over 900. Now I know it's limited this year because he was injured. So there definitely can be a case made. I think I would say, just as an outsider's perspective, I think Tim Anderson is huge.
Yeah.
His on base stinks. Basically it's his batting average is his on base almost. But he does feel like the heartbeat of that team. And when I look at that lineup, it feels like it goes where he goes. So if they're going to have any success this year in the playoffs, it's going to be because of their shortstop. And I know that Jose Abreu is dominant there at first base and is their reigning MVP. And you put up all the great arguments for Yasmani Grandal. But I really feel like when we're talking about, this is why I like to put numbers aside sometimes. There's certain guys who are like, let's go. I don't want to be the bad guy if I got to be the bad guy. I'll be the good guy if I got to be the good guy. He just wants to be the guy. I think that's a big deal.
Man, it's I mean, I think there's a lot of analytics people that would kind of shriek at what we just said.
Oh, totally.
I think that's where there's not a correction, because Yasmani Grandal should be appreciated. The year he's
absolutely
great, but there's some parts of it that aren't the full picture. Like, there's probably White Sox fans watching this right now that, like, Yasmani's been out most of the year. We were rolling, and he probably feels like a bonus piece to them when he does what he does. But I don't know. I'd have to let them tell me.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Somebody in the chat, let me see here. D-Web said that's some 1960s baseball thinking. I don't know if you're talking about my comment about Tim Anderson, but you can't have it. There's got to be a balance, people. When you're evaluating the worth of ball players, it can't strictly be punching numbers into a computer, because it doesn't work that way. Why? Because the game's played by human beings. So there are days where human beings, when we're putting all these numbers together, we're using the baseline that the human beings are exactly the same every day, and they're not. They're not. There are things that are bothering them, whether it's physical or emotional. And so that's why you have to discuss this stuff. So we can't say, well, you're an old school thinker. No, you have to be old school and new school. Because if you're one way or the other, then you're not doing your job.
And I mean, I like to go to phrases or concepts, and if you're playing the White Sox in a 5-game set, and I told you that Yasmani Grandal could go 2 for 20 in the series, or I told you Tim Anderson could go 2 for 20 in the series, what would be more important? I mean, if Tim Anderson goes 2 for 20, I think you circle that, and you don't chalk up a White Sox loss, but that changes their whole offense, where Yasmani might not.
Right. It's all good points. All right, last one quickly. Max Scherzer, 0 for 2 during his 6 shutout innings last night. He has now set the single-season record for most plate appearances without reaching base. It's at 50. How much either do you think it bothers Max, or how much shit is he getting in that clubhouse for that?
Ooh, man, I think it's a healthy Dodgers dynamic where I think they talk a lot of trash to him, and Max says, "Why don't you step in the box?" And I'll show you what I do, man. I know any baseball show nowadays can do the pitchers hitting, and it's almost, when I was getting into sports radio, I heard people say that, like, if there was ever a dead summer day, you debate Pete Rose going in the Hall of Fame, and you kill a day like that and you hope for sports news the next day. Man, I don't think Max Scherzer cares about hitting.
I'll tell you this. We had him on Rose Rotation earlier this year. He said, I care more about RBIs, driving guys in, than I do about anything else. And he said, to me, that's a big deal. Like, even if I get a guy in on like a ground out or something, I'm good with that. But I think that sort of stuff bothers him. But I did read a really interesting article on MLB.com that says, his strikeout rate is like less than the average pitcher. It's like at 38% as opposed to 42 or 44%. Like, his expected batting average shouldn't be 0, like all that sort of stuff. But I imagine that, like, if you walk up there and it's September, they put all the numbers on the scoreboard. Max Scherzer has been pitching all season long. You think he likes seeing 3 zeros up there? That can't be fun.
I think he definitely would love to slap one the next couple starts. But if he doesn't, I think you can even add that to, like, the playoff juice. Like, sure, I didn't. Or no, Chris, this is baseball. He's not going to get a hit in the regular season, and he's going to get a hit.
Yeah. He's going to go nuts. He might even hit a homer in the World Series or something. Could be crazy.
Imagine.
There you go. All right, before we wrap, what do you have coming up on John Boy today? Anything?
Man, it's actually Well, it's supposed to be a quiet day today. The Yankees are off, and it's their last off day before a 20-day stretch. So the Yanks are a final little test to make sure they keep the ship going the right direction. So
you're not going to the office then, right?
No, and the rain kind of finalized that a little bit. It was slightly up in the air, but yeah, we late night last night got in at about 2, and so me and my guy Noodle the Doodle Dog are just chilling it out today.
What up, Noodle?
What are you up to?
So we just released the Joey Votto episode, and I got to tell you, it was a blast. We were all over the place, which I think made it so interesting. Like 10 minutes in, he found out that he could swear on it. He was like, "Oh, this is great."
Game on.
Like, yeah, Joey, come on, shit, let's go for it. So it was really, really fun. I think he had a blast. He gave me 45 minutes on a game day, which I really appreciated. So go enjoy it. If you'll be at home, during your, I doubt you'll get to your gym today, but if you do, you can listen to the Joey Votto episode.
Oh, maybe. I find a way to get to the gym. And man, the golf clip that producer extraordinaire Rob Scirocco put out is already 45 seconds of the 45-minute episode, and it's incredible. So I'm excited.
Thank you. There's even a better clip we're going to release later today. I think that it kind of shows his really quick-witted, funny, very funny side where we're talking about TV characters and stuff like that. So it's excellent, in my opinion, just in terms of getting to know one of the great characters in baseball even a little bit better. So that's it. Big shout out to our guy T. Plouffe, who unfortunately was not feeling well last night. Hang in there, bro. Hopefully I'll see you back here. And I really appreciate one of the guys that signs my checks, Noodle. Thank you for showing up today, Noodle.
Good job, buddy. Are you tired? What a beast.
Oh, Dad, stop bothering me.
It's tough. I'm always ready to go, Chris. That's my only asset.
You are now. Availability is the best ability.
Right?
Oh, Plouffe in the chat. Oh, my
God.
That is impressive. Did you take this next to the toilet while you're hurling?
Send pics.
Oh, my God. Please don't, actually. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Thanks for joining us. Keep gobbling up all the content at John Boy Media. You guys are the biggest reason why we are the #1 baseball destination. Thank you. It does not go underappreciated or unnoticed. Noodles, have a great day. Jake, thanks, man.
Thanks, Rosie.
Peace.
See ya.